live right now. Any second now, we are live. Hey everybody, welcome to our weekend streaming. Right, streaming Saturday today. Wait, no, today is Sunday, not
Sunday,
Saturday. My bad.
Sunday, yes.
Streaming Sundays, but a little bit earlier than usual. Usually we do it around afternoon time in the U.S., but today the morning because have some other stuff. But look at our agenda today and give us a shout out right now if you can hear us and if you're in the live chat. We want to always keep y'all in the loop and rope in live chat questions and comments too. So be sure to use that live chat really freely and we'll definitely read them out and get back to y'all. But in terms of today's topics, we're going to talk about these Bitconnect guys finally getting sued 3 years later, which was like an OMG moment that Adrian and I was talking about, where like this brings back so many memories. Finally, it
Yes.
happens. Finally, justice is served. Right? That's what we were. Everything was racing through our minds when we heard about that. But besides
Uh,
that, that's the fun topic today. But we're also going to talk about some very useful topics, especially in this uncertain time in the market. Right? Like, is Bitcoin in a bear market now, or are we? Do we have new all-time highs in store in 2021? Right, we're gonna look at a lot of different opinions and analysis that we see on the interwebs, and then Adrian and I are going to kind of add our own color and our own thoughts to what we hear. And so, like, where's Bitcoin headed? Where are alts and DeFi headed? Whales, are they playing games with us? Whales love playing games with us, don't they?
Always. That's the way the world works.
Exactly, exactly. And um, thank you, Harold Chavez. Thanks for being here and giving us a shout out. Everyone else, please use the live chat as much as you want. We're going to get to you pretty often, okay? So let's start off with this. Let me get this article, which was what we first saw when we saw the
Because
BitConnect guys.
we actually never thought this day would arrive, right? We're like, this is so long ago. It's just over, and this topic is not coming back, and people are not going to be held accountable. But
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think us and also the promoters themselves never expected this day to come, right?
Exactly. And some of them were really, what word am I looking for? Really brash and bull, like, oh, you can't touch me. I'm okay. Like, nothing I did was wrong. I was just promoting BitConnect. I wasn't the founder of BitConnect. I wasn't like the leader of the Ponzi. Um, but, oh man, where did I put this? What day? Oh, I found it. So finally. Okay. Let me go to screen share right here. And give us a shout out on the chat if you remember this stuff, right? Here we go. This was a few days ago, May 28th. So just 2 days ago, right? The Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, which we're probably not huge fans of either, but for this, for Ponzi's, like, yeah, they can do their job, I guess. But they filed charges against five individuals, including Trevon James. Remember that guy? He was the one who was so brash and bold, and he was like, it's not my fault. You can't touch me. Bring it on, lawyers. He made like a lot of videos back in the day saying those things. Took them 3 years to finally take action. Like, come on.
That probably means they're well prepared for their actions.
Honestly, I kind of feel bad for like Trevon James though. He's just sure like he needs to give back all of his money and more that he ever made using BitConnect because that's not his rightfully, in my opinion. But he's just some like random like dumb kid, just like all of us are/were, right? And now he's gonna get the big bad SEC come bearing down on him, and he's probably like, "Oh crap, I need to get a lawyer for this." Yeah, that is. But look, this was from the block. Um, And let's see. Okay, so these were the guys who were named. Trevon Brown, which Trevon James is his YouTube name, Craig Grant, Ryan Masson, and Michael Noble. Something that's really, and that Joshua Jepson was a defendant for a liaison. Remember how the founders were like anonymous, but they had
Mm-hmm.
events. It was like their proxy members, like this guy, this Joshua Jepson guy, who would represent Bitconnect at conferences, and people would go up with like YouTube videos, like making a phone, be like, "Hey, I demand you like tell me why you're not a Ponzi enabler or something." They would like make a huge deal and like cuss him out in front of his face and everything. Um, but
Wow.
alas, he wasn't the founder. It's really crazy how the founders who are making the most money out of this were never in like the line of fire in like the public sphere, at least.
Do we even know who those people are?
I mean, I never heard of who anyone naming. I mean, I'm pretty
Me
sure
neither.
like the law enforcement agencies know, but it might be like kept under wraps or something like that. Which is why I think some of these like new age coins this cycle, who like just print money like the doggy coins or whatnot, and they all dox themselves too. They all like go on live streams and tell you exactly who they are. Now that is a bold move. That is a
Yeah,
really
because
bold
they
move.
probably think that because they're not actually doing the precise same thing as a Ponzi like Bitconnect, right? So,
Yeah, not the
but
precise same thing, but there's
they are
still,
more in a gray area.
yeah, there's still questionable legality of it, and they just printed money and made millions out of it. So that's why I want to get a lawyer who's familiar with crypto on our show and have like an interview with them. I want to ask them like, is it legal to just print these doggy coins like that? I've always been on the careful side and been like, no. But I mean, if it's totally legal, then why the heck aren't we printing our own doggy coins? Like, besides ethics, obviously, we want to be ethical here and live with ourselves. But I mean, everyone's printing these random coins and it's freaking crazy. Yeah.
I think the way you're promoting and selling it is probably going to make a huge difference in the legality part.
Yeah. And I want to take a quick second, not done with this topic yet. Thank you everyone for joining us so far. If you don't mind giving us a like, that would help us out immensely. So we try to do this every weekend. Next weekend, no, because I'm going to be in the Bitcoin Miami conference. So if anyone here is going to go to Bitcoin Miami, give a shout out on the live chat and hope to see you around there. But let's take a look at some of the
By
live
the way,
chat.
yes, Ava Angel makes an interesting comment. He says Trevin did an interview with CoffeeZilla a few months ago that's going to send him to prison. Now, I'm very curious what he said then in that interview, to be honest.
Yeah, I really want to watch that. But all I remember, he's really bold. He's like, come at me. He would make one of his videos from years ago was him be like, oh no, the feds are out to get me. Someone's knocking on my door. I'm locked in my apartment. He's just like milking the
Yeah.
drama, like
He was
seemingly,
trolling it, right?
yeah, yes, like just giving no remorse or no like respect for the situation, the gravity of it that he's in.
Yeah. And that people actually lost money, right?
And Ava Angel makes up a good point. Crypto Nick will never be held accountable because he was a minor.
CryptoNeck, that was the
Crypto
guy.
Nick, yeah, that was the guy.
Yeah, I forgot his
And
name.
then I don't know if y'all remember a lot of other people like Crypto Chick. She also made money out of it and then disappeared. Like after BitConnect fell, she disappeared like crazy. And then some other people like Sonny Decree, but then he like came back and said he wasn't. He did it just like once or twice in one or two videos, but then he came back afterwards saying that he was wrong and BitConnect is
Oh,
a
it was
Ponzi.
actually before Bitcoin fell. He was already for like a couple of months being
Yeah,
very critical
exactly,
and
exactly.
suspicious and warning people like you have to make this decision for yourself. But he was already, and like a few weeks in advance, he was already totally denouncing it, like this is really no good.
Yeah, exactly. So
So he was
that's good
actually
of him.
warning people quite in time to
That's
get
good.
out as soon as possible.
Exactly. That's good of him to do that. And some comments about this BitConnect case, people were like, imagine suing Ripple before BitConnect. Effing useless cowards. Talking about the SEC. And then someone else says, SEC enforcement makes sloths look fast. They should change the eagle logo to a sloth. I mean, that's so true, right? BitConnect is like a forgotten thing. Like, we know about it because we were around last cycle. All the newbies, they have no idea what we're talking about. Like, there's no website. Maybe there's a Wikipedia entry and some old blog articles, but they don't remember like the
Like ancient
vicious.
history.
Remember the vicious debates? Like, if you would post
Ooh, in
something
our groups.
critical, yeah, we would post something critical about BitConnect, and there would be like hundreds of messages being like, no, it's not a scam. They have a blockchain, or I can withdraw my money, or whatever. Like, there's so much defense. And they drew on for a long time. Like, they grew to like top 20, top 10 overall market cap, something crazy like that. And people were like, it is bound to crash, but it seemed to never, like the weeks would go by and BitConnect seemed to just never fall until it did. Until it did. And that
Until it
was,
did, and then it did actually,
yeah,
because it was a straight line down, right? Like in a few hours, it was like the
exactly.
coin price
Exactly.
was absolutely destroyed, like 99%. That
Yeah,
was like a really painful day for a lot of people.
exactly. Ava Angel says BitConnect 2.0 is still going. Which one do you mean, Ava? But in the meantime, while we wait for that, we have some other really juicy topics. We want to see where sentiment is in the Bitcoin space right now because things are really crazy, right? I have a lot of people calling for the top to be in, saying that they sold all of their Bitcoin already. And then we have people who are still bullish and everywhere in between. But right now on the fear and greed indicator, let me pull that up real quick. Greed index. Let me pull that up for y'all. Here we go. Wow, look at this, guys.
Extreme
Extreme
fear.
fear. And this is as of today. I mean, I felt more fearful last week, to be honest with y'all, than today. But I can see why people feel extreme fear because it had like on the charts, it had that drop and then like a bounce. And then now it's like coming back down and another small bounce right now. But still, I understand why there's extreme fear. But this also matches the sentiment that I've seen as well. Like just people saying the top is in, people saying that we're going to enter a multi-year bear market, which is scary because I have not taken a lot of profit, to be completely honest with y'all, because I didn't even think we were close to the top. I still don't think we're close to the top. But what I did do is I did subscribe to 4 different paid groups of chart trading, technicals, on chain.
Hate groups.
Yeah, paid groups, or like paid newsletters per se, kind of like Willy Woo's. He has like an on-chain analysis, fundamental analysis, paid newsletter for like $30 a month or something. But he's fundamentals, and I'm in some whatchamacallit, technicals and charts analysis too. But basically, I just want to get a range of like deeper analysis so that we can kind of be more nimble and not just be stuck in our like, okay, it's gonna be a bull fast mindset essentially. Because what I did notice was that some people have been, so when Bitcoin was ranging sideways around like the upper 50K 60K levels, some people already started calling on the technical side that they didn't like that market structure, and it was looking very weak based on like volume, based on like just like lower lows, lower highs, things like that. and they called it like weeks before, and then the crash came. And so it's just I didn't have that perspective on my radar. It was all moon boys, all like laser eyes on Twitter. Right? It's hard to hear the other side when it's only like Pomps and Michael Saylors on my feed.
Confirmation bias can be really strong. But yeah, to be honest, I mean, there had to be like a correction at some point, right? Because we didn't have any substantial correction so far, like what I already mentioned earlier. This wouldn't be any healthy bull market if there wouldn't be any severe correction, right? So
Yeah,
this is just the first one. So
that's
yeah,
that's what people were saying, that this price action could be taken as both bearish or bullish. Like if you just kept on overheating without any big correction, then our there's no way we could reach like 100K that this cycle if we just kept on overheating. Maybe get to like 70, 80K, and then that would be like the blow off top essentially. But
right.
yeah,
Or even with higher prices in mind,
yeah, exactly.
we wouldn't be able to reach that anyway. So it's it's just part of the healthy structure to get some severe corrections in between. So
Exactly.
we should embrace it.
Yeah. And let's take a quick look at the live chat. By the way, I want to thank everyone for joining us. I know this isn't our normal time, but we got some people watching here with us today. By the way, just real quick, I want to give a really quick shout out to one of our sponsors that we're working with. We do this these streams and make videos for y'all almost full time. So need to get a little bit of revenue to support us to continue to make great content for y'all. And one sec, let me give a quick. So how many of y'all use like BlockFi? Because this is pretty similar. Ledn is the name, and they have interest accounts. They have like for your crypto, earn high yield interest, and then you can get crypto backed loans as well. So it's just like BlockFi or Celsius or so forth. You can earn interest and access dollar loans or loans to buy more Bitcoin. They're institutional grade services, so they work with BitGo, have insured custody. And so far for the interest accounts, you can earn up to 6.1% APY for Bitcoin and 11%, up to 11% for USDC. And you can also access Bitcoin backed loans in USD or USDC if you want some cash but you don't want to sell. And then they also have a special product I haven't seen elsewhere called B2X. So this is where you can like get them to loan you double your Bitcoin balance. But there's some like intricacies to that you should read into in terms of like what you can do with that. But it gives you like doubled exposure, but you have to pay back the loan essentially. Real quick note, they also have proof of reserves by Armanino LLC, an accounting firm, and they are backed by top firms like Coinbase Ventures, all of these that you can see right here. Let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, these are all the VCs that back them. They recently raised a $30 million Series A. So well-backed, work with BitGo, and they may get you higher interest than BlockFi and Celsius because they're new and giving us better deals. So go check them out using my link down below if you guys are interested in these types of products or services. Okie dokie. So let's go back to my feed. So a lot of stuff to look into right now. Let's see. This is going to be a little bit unstructured, so bear with us here. But one thing is here. I don't know if you could see this, Adrian, but this is NVT,
Yes.
which kind of measures like network value to the like amount of money flowing through the Bitcoin network. and the price, right? So this is this metric. There's a lot of different metrics you can look at for Bitcoin, but this is at the levels of the March 20 pandemic flash crash, which was honestly one of the best times ever to buy Bitcoin. I mean, look at this. Remember, I
If you
was
were able to catch it in the very, very short amount of time that those prices were available.
yes, yes, but even then, even if you like waited for the bounce, like look at this, like these few days, that would totally been fine too. This was what, like
Yeah,
3K
yeah.
ish, but this was 5K ish. Even either way, if we weren't too scared to buy at this time, look at the rocket ship afterwards. This might have been one of the best bets or best like points to buy in Bitcoin history in terms of like how
But you
fast it
would be
appreciated.
catching a falling knife,
That is true. Unless you catch it on
and
the
that's
bounce
always
up.
scary.
It is. It is
Yeah.
scary. I barely bought any. I don't think I actually bought any until like these levels, to be honest with you. I didn't buy any down here. I was too scared about not only Bitcoin, just like the macro environment itself. So
Exactly.
yeah, see, look at all the bearish sentiment though. What if I told you we wouldn't see new highs until 2022? Um, a lot of people getting wrecked with margin. By the way, I still want to make a video about why you guys shouldn't trade with margin. That is on the pipeline, hasn't come out yet, but this is a story how this guy in China started with 500,000 ren, and then he,
How much is that even,
I
more
don't
or
know,
less?
but we can convert it in a sec. But let's see. So he, I think,
Can you
six
zoom
x'd
out this
it
a little?
to, yes. Sorry, I didn't see that. Let me zoom out right here. Right here. Okay. So he went from 500,000 ren to 3 million. But with a flash crash of May 19th, his book funds shrunk significantly. And then he was undeterred. He increased leverage 10 times, wanted to buy the bottom, but then it bottomed out even further, and all of his 3 million evaporated. He said,
Including
quote,
his 500,000
exactly,
initial capital.
exactly. He said, quote, looking back now, the whole process is like a dream, Mr. Zhao sighed. Wow, that is what
Yeah,
happens to people, get wrecked with leverage.
and it happens quite a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Also, in terms of just some like technology stuff, have you looked into Taproot? There's a lot of like progress with Taproot signaling for Bitcoin. Can you tell the
Right.
audience a little bit about just in general, nutshell?
Mm, to be honest, I have not looked at the current status of Taproot yet.
What about just in a nutshell?
So, no, I wouldn't be able to do that at this point.
Okay, no worries. Well, we might do a video about Taproot too. Also, this is the conference I was talking
Just not
about.
to spread misinformation, because I looked into Taproot like a year ago. I have no idea about the current situation.
Is it privacy related though? Like to make
Yeah,
transactions more
privacy
private?
is there is some privacy element to it, but it's also about efficiency and yeah, efficiency is actually a more important part of it.
Got it. Got it. That makes sense. By the way, people are itching for crypto conferences because we haven't had one in like over a year. Look at this. The Bitcoin conference in Miami has officially sold out at a max capacity of 12,000 attendees.
Oof,
That is going to be
12,000.
bigger than any conference I've ever been to in the Bay Area, in Las Vegas. This is going to be packed. And
This is going to be like the first
the first big,
American event.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
So everybody's going to be there, I guess.
exactly. So let's see.
By the way, there was someone asking, let me see. Kuber Seth is asking, I am new here. Has Binance Exchange ever been hacked in the last 4 years?
Yes,
Is
they have.
keeping assets safe there, or I should put my assets in cold storage?
They definitely have been hacked. Um, with like, I don't know how many it was, like $50 million or more, if I remember correctly. I mean, they have a Seifu fund where they like reimburse hacked victims, but obviously learning how to hold your own crypto is the safest.
Yeah, and it depends on what you're going to do. If you trade on a daily basis, you obviously need some basic balance on your account, but for storage, you shouldn't really hold it on an exchange, obviously.
By the way, this was quite interesting. Ray Dalio, who has been a Bitcoin skeptic for a long time, has slowly been changing his mind. And now he says he describes it as a superior investment to bonds. Quote, I'd rather have Bitcoin over bonds. And I believe he does own a little bit of Bitcoin too, which is a new. And in this,
And that's quite interesting because bonds are usually viewed as even safer than holding stocks, right? And he's now
exactly.
saying he rather holds Bitcoin instead of bonds. So
And
that also means he considers Bitcoin even safer than stocks as well, right?
that reminds me of a different tweet because look, this
Not
one.
safer, better is the right thing to say.
You guys notice how the news FUD has nearly completely disappeared just as quickly as it all came in the same time. Surprise, surprise. This is
Hmm.
the freaking whale manipulation. And I'm not going to say it's Ray Dalio because I don't think he cares that much personally. But if he bought on the dip, he just got Bitcoin at a 50% discount and sale compared to like 2, 3 weeks ago.
And I'm
So,
pretty sure a lot of whales and high net worth individuals have certainly taken their opportunity of the liquidity and discounted prices.
exactly.
Quite sure about that, because the enormous wave of FUD was like too obvious, right? It was like too obvious, too fast, and you saw it building up and then just completely crashing the price, and it very very much looks like um, a lot of intent there.
Oh, there was a really good thread of someone. This is a lot of hearsay, but someone was saying that he used to give like FUD as a service to big whales. Like he would literally, um, let me find it. Dang, I have so many comments that are great, but it's hard to find. Where is the FUD one? Let's see. Let's see. Give me a second. Ah, right here, right here. Okay. Y'all are in for a treat, guys. Strap in and pay attention because this is quite interesting. Okay, some inside info on FUD and messing with markets by someone who's had blood on their hands. This is going to be detailed. So this is some hearsay, but it does make sense, okay? Let me just summarize some of it for you. Okay, he launched a full service company in 2016, legal and regulatory, solidity development, marketing and PR, OTC. They did a lot of sentiment management for their OTC desk. Okay, let's say you're a
Sentiment
fund.
management, very
Yeah, let's
interesting.
say you're a fund wanting exposure to BTC, but you've missed the optimal entry. If only there was a dip you could enter in. Cue us. What flavor of the dip would Sir prefer this morning? Flash crash? Liquidity hunt? Ah, excellent choice. The end of the bull market it is. So we're going to crash the markets to allow you to scoop up cheap sats. Step 1, the groundwork. They pay low tier media outlets to publish bearish news, but not promote it on their channels. It just sits there for now. Step 2, pay several contributors to Bloomberg and Forbes to publish hot takes on the story, citing the article. And he has all these different spreadsheet with like how much it costs for a paid post, like 1,000, 800, 200, 500. Yeah, those are all the paid prices for different media outlets that he got. Bloomberg 7,500, Reuters 8,200, TheStreet.com 5,000. Wow. Okay.
Forbes, wow.
Yeah. Okay, so now the comment is on low tier news sites and few tier ones. Now you ping every pasty tech writer you ever bought drinks for at conferences as FOMO them in. Yo, you're missing the story, dude. It's on Reuters too. You need to publish now. The story gains momentum and it hits the PR wires. It's obviously legit. Now to break out the crypto Twitter influencers. They tweet out the story, various keywords like ban, hack, etc. And it all goes crazy and the market dumps. Wait, let me go back. Retail sees the dump, rush to Twitter to find that crypto Twitter is engrossed in this news story. They panic as algos start to dump and liquidations begin. Retail sales, cascading stop losses and liquidations finish the job. Drive price to your orders. We dump on any rally to keep momentum high. Bingo. Wow.
Ooh.
I mean, this isn't really proof per se, but it all makes really logical sense. And I can see how that could work very effectively. It's like FUD as a service, folks. This is why you don't trust when fear and greed indicator is really bad. Remember this? That may be manipulated or may be real, but yeah, that is such a juicy.
But that's the whole function of FUD, whether it's organized or a paid service. It's how you say it? It's a phenomenon that occurs in the market, and a lot of people have a lot of interest to have fierce FUD spread. So yeah, you should always be aware of that and not let FUD influence your buying or selling decisions.
Exactly. And I want to take a second to look at this thread. Dan McArdle says he has no opinion on whether Bitcoin is entering a bear phase or not. But here are some things people say in every bear market that have been proven wrong.
Every time.
Every time. Yeah, it's over forever. Bitcoin was a one-time bubble. False. This time is different because the whole world was watching. Yeah, heard that after the previous cycles too. Bitcoin fell because of Elon, China, Treasury, regulation, CME, whales, manipulation, etc. People always look for explicit cause. Often market was just extended one way or another, and virtually anything would have triggered the move. Which I kind
That's
of
true.
agree with. Like Elon, I don't think it was his fault necessarily. The obviously didn't help, but I don't think we can blame this whole thing like this was the Elon bear market or something. I don't think so. Bitcoin believers lost faith. No, tourists lost faith. Happens every time. That is the same thing. Like people with laser eyes, like freaking Logan Paul or Soulja Boy or all these new crypto YouTubers and Twitter influencers with laser eyes. A lot of them are going to disappear. Like last time, a lot of them disappeared. And we stayed through the times. I mean, were we putting out as much great content back in 2018, 2019? No. But we stayed and we hope to be here for a long time with you guys too. So hope you stay too, because a lot of the people who joined us on live streams like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we haven't seen them around. But we'll try to do this more regularly, even if we do enter a more boring period. So if you really are interested in crypto, then you definitely should subscribe, hit that bell icon, and just join us periodically, especially on our streams where we just chat and just kick it with y'all, essentially. Okay, let's see. Bitcoin's performance. No one will ever buy BTC again after this carnage. That is not true at all. That's not true at all. Honestly, I think just like Bitcoin's always going to recover unless something catastrophic like and crazy happens, like quantum, or I don't even know, something weird like that. Because even if people sell, eventually there's only going to be diamond hands left. And when there's diamond hands left, that sets the floor and then slowly starts to accumulate again. Like diamond hands get some more paychecks and slowly start to build up buy pressure again, and then that's what kicks it off. Eventually, when buy pressure gets higher and higher, people start FOMOing, and then the market cycle kicks off again. So I think that's just natural psychology, unless something like really crazy and unexpected happens to Bitcoin. But I think we'll always see cycles, to be honest.
We got a $1 ice cream from Jamonge Martin.
Awesome. Thank you. What did you say?
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
he
Yeah.
just gave an ice cream.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, we have a lot more viewers now too. Thank you all for joining us. If you don't mind giving us a like, we do this every weekend, except next weekend when I'm going to be at Bitcoin Miami. I hope to see some of y'all there. Let's take a look at the live chat right now, by the way. Okay, let's see. Okay, so which asset is closest competition to INJ? Kuber Seth, you should check out Mirror Protocol. That's very similar to INJ. Dalio is concerned about inflation, bonds getting hurt by inflation. That's definitely potentially true.
Just to
Bitconnect,
say
okay.
something about Ray Dalio,
Okay.
because he's one of the guys changing his tune on Bitcoin somewhat, although I believe he has never been really negative about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
However, Kevin O'Leary, I saw,
I did.
has
I want to
been
show you
changing his
that.
tune like one. Oh,
I want
okay,
to show you
it's
that in
on
a
the roll.
sec. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
We're going to talk about Mr. Wonderful in a sec, but I just want to finish these live
Yeah,
chats
yeah,
real
okay.
quick. If it can be manipulated, then it has already been manipulated and was designed as such a tool, in his opinion. This is so good to hear in 2021. We need this. Thank you, guys. MetaMask, Eve's Cone, you should watch some YouTube videos and just be careful. You can definitely find your private key in the settings and your public key. It just like do some more Googling and be careful. Try things out there. Okay, but let me find this Mr. Wonderful thing. He used to hate Bitcoin. He called it garbage multiple times, said he would never own it. But now he's been going crazy, and he even has laser eyes too. Check out these laser eyes by Mr. Wonderful. Laser
Ooh,
eyes.
he's
But
part of the cult now.
he is, but also he has Bitcoin just like Mark Cuban, but he also likes other crypto stuff too. So Bitcoin maxis might not be too happy about that. He has been doing a lot of DeFi stuff. He launches a DeFi investing company, and he is yield farming with his
Mm.
coin on like let's see what he if there's any details here. Let's see which protocols. I think Yearn, but let me zoom out for you guys. Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary launches DeFi investing company. Okay, he said that 3% of his entire portfolio is now in Bitcoin. So I don't know. He's like what $500 million and 3%. And he was talking to Pomp on Pomp's podcast and said that he could see it become 10% in the future in terms of his whole Bitcoin and crypto allocation, which for him is quite a bit, like $50 million. He might not
Wow.
even need to buy anymore if we have another big blow off top or something. Okay, so
And look what he said about Bitcoin in 2019.
yeah, he said it was garbage. I saw the interview on
Garbage.
CNBC.
Yeah, me
Okay,
too. He wasn't saying like he got like a few dollars on a wallet and that he couldn't.
yeah,
No, I don't remember the story
he
exactly.
sent people
He
sent
was
him
completely ranting about it. I
yeah
remember.
people sent him altcoins that did terrible during the bear market. It went to like
Oh
zero
yes,
essentially.
like his
He's
students sent him.
yeah
He sent him
exactly.
altcoins, right? Yeah, 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 that.
Yeah, see right here. That's exactly what you said. In a 2019 CNBC interview, Mr. Wonderful said Bitcoin was garbage. He said it's a useless currency and called it a worthless digital gamble. So, oh, how the people change. I don't think Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger are going to change their mind in time, per
Or
se.
Peter Schiff.
Oh, he's not. He loves hating on Bitcoin. I mean, it gets him
Exactly.
customers and gets him more Twitter followers. So he loves it. What would he be? He'd be irrelevant without Bitcoin. Like, we're not going to follow him for gold stuff or anything.
Exactly.
But let's see. By the way, if y'all haven't watched our video on Mark Cuban's $1 million bet on Bitcoin and Ether to beat the S&P 500, you definitely should watch that one. I think it's a really fun and interesting analysis on why we agree with Mark and why it's not necessarily a clear-cut case. Right here, look at these iconic fund managers and investors. They're owning some Bitcoin. Ray Dalio, I have some Bitcoin. Finally, he joins. Finally, he joins it. Okay. What else were we wanting to look at today? So,
So, so to come back to the original, where's Bitcoin headed? Like personally, okay, if you look at the chart sentiment, then we could definitely see we're in a bearish short-term trend. However, like yourself, I am also still mid-term bullish.
yeah.
But I think there is a real, we should really take the CME gap into serious consideration. That is still on the table, right? Maybe you have
Yeah, I do
the
have the.
image.
Let me bring it up for you. Right here. One sec. All right, folks. So we made a video about the CME gap. In a nutshell, CME, if you don't know, it's futures. It's Bitcoin's futures, but it's like the stock market, okay? So they don't trade on the weekends. And because they don't trade on the weekends, so futures closely track the price of spot Bitcoin, which is what you and I buy on the exchanges. But as you know, Bitcoin is 24/7, 365 days. It's always trading around the world. Always. Every single second, doesn't matter. So Bitcoin does not rest on the weekends, but CME is futures, so they do rest on the weekends. So what does that mean, right? That means there is a gap over the weekends where let's say the price of Bitcoin is here, and then and then Bitcoin rockets over the weekend. Okay, it rockets to here. So when CME opens on Monday, it's going to boom jump here, and then there's now like an open space of air in that chart, like you can see here, with no price. Now, what some people noticed is that Bitcoin's price always revisits this range in a move of what they call fill the gap. It always touches this range again with like 95. Is it 95, Adrian? 95%
I believe so, and
historically.
most of them come back in the like the same week.
Exactly. Exactly.
But
So
there is also um, quite a lot, and that makes the percentage even higher. At some point in time, it can take like months
it
to
could take
fill the
like the
gap. But
entire bear market to fill the gap later.
uh,
But 95% historically of CME gaps have filled. There are some edge cases though, like a 3,000 gap or something, a $3,000 Bitcoin gap, and something really small that there are gaps that don't fill. So is it absolutely guaranteed that we're going to fill this gap? That Adrian, this is from Adrian's video. We have a CME gap video you guys should watch too. But there is a gap there at the $23,000 range or so at Christmas of 2020 that we gapped up and never retouched. So the $1 million question is, are we going to revisit the lower 20,000s range because of the CME gap? Now, I remember when we were up here in like the mid 30s, 40s range, I was talking about the CME gap. People were like, that's a fairy tale. It's never going to come back down or blah, 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 blah. Hey, now it's looking more likely that it might touch that level. But to be honest, if
exactly,
it touched that level, I would be much more midterm bearish. If we broke under 30s,
No, actually, oh, all right. I think we should assume, of course, if it hits the CME gap, then of course there is going to be longer bearish sentiment. However, for the market structure, it's actually really healthy if we get there because then the gap is gone. So in a later phase, we wouldn't have to really take that into
yeah.
consideration anymore. And we would also have been close enough to the 2017 top, the previous all-time high. We would have also retested that again.
So
So
that makes a lot
those
of
two
sense.
things would make the chart structure even stronger for the next leg of the bull market, which we are still anticipating.
Yeah, that's a great point, and we have some great tweets that I want to dive into about the bear and bull case for Bitcoin. But also, I was looking at some charts, some chart traders, some technical analysts, and one thing they point out is that there's not a lot of volume. I mean, they put it in a more fun and exaggerating way. They say it's thin air between 30K and 10K in terms of volume. And so we could see a huge drop. And that pi cycle top indicator fairy tale, remember how in 2013 they fell like what 85 or 80% before rocketing again for a second peak? 80
Hmm.
80% or 85% from 64K would be around 15K. But I don't like that at all because that's
No, I don't. I
under the
wouldn't like that at all
that's under the
either.
previous all-time high, which we haven't really seen before.
Exactly. We
So
should see because it usually retest the previous all-time high. So if we can clear that event, then from then on we would be fundamentally stronger in the charts. So
yeah,
both things would be really really good if those were would happen, and it's better to be um, emotionally prepared for that to happen
you know,
than to just.
yeah. One thing that I've been doing is I've been a lot more patient since the 2018 bear market. I think it goes both ways, right? Like I used up my dry powder too fast. So it's like, oh, the dip came. I'm going to buy more. Oh, the dip came. I'm going to buy more. But then it kept on dipping, right? So I had no more dry powder at the lowest points.
And
So
that's why you dollar cost average.
that is true. That is true. I have been dollar cost averaging. But also on the other hand, I was also not as getting into like bull market positions and like reallocating stuff into swing trades and whatnot as quickly because I was always like, oh, this is a fake out. Oh, this is a fake out when the bull is essentially already started. It was well into the bull season and I was still thinking like in denial. So it kind of lags, like it makes us jaded and then we're like, no, 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 it can't be, it can't be. But it's already the best times to put in your swing trades for like maximum Satoshi gains and whatnot. Exactly,
We we
Theodore.
we, we
Dave,
also had like a um, super chat.
yes.
Feed me. Ask what's your thoughts on meme coins, Shiba Inu, SafeMoon, Hoge.
My thoughts are that they're fun. They're definitely gamble. They could go 1000x or they could go to zero. Would I risk a lot of Bitcoin for them? No. That's gonna get you wrecked and lose your precious digital gold, right? But I don't think there's an issue with treating it as like a gamble. If you're gonna go to Vegas and play roulette, you can play with that money here. Why not? Right? Dog coins, I own a few
Yep.
for fun too, but it's like
It's in the same
0.5%.
ballpark as going to the casino,
Yeah, it's like
more or less.
0.5% compared to my Bitcoin. So let me just put it that way. As long as you know it's gambling, I think it's fine. But if you're expecting it to be like guaranteed 100x gains gonna pay off your college tuitions or your debt, then that's pretty unrealistic. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a lot of viewers right now. If you don't mind giving us a quick like, thank you, Feed Me, so much, and Jamongu Martin for the ice cream. Thank you all so much for the super chat. We greatly appreciate it. By the way, here, let me show you this. This is what we were talking about. So true. People be like, we wish we had a bear market to buy cheap. Buy 60% from the top altcoin. Immediately dumps 50%. Oh well, just gonna dollar cost average. Another 60% drop. WTF, isn't this thing down more than 100% already? Dumps another 50%. You really don't want a bear market. That is so true. Like, yeah, you just from market psychology, we're gonna say, oh, the dip is here and buy way too fast, right? Like, I mean, if you are patient and you are really able to get altcoins when it's at like pennies on the dollar compared to now, that can get you some massive, massive gains. But if you just get, basically, this situation is very
But
likely to happen too.
and the whole problem with the altcoins is there are thousands to choose from. So picking the right ones that are actually going to perform at some point in time, which you don't know is going to be next week, next month, in 5 years, because with some you have to actually wait 5 years for them to make any moves. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's not a really realistic probability that you're going to pick the right ones without
well,
being an absolute expert in altcoin trading.
not only expert, I think in retrospect, it isn't the absolute hardest to pick them, but you have to spend a lot of time in research and you can't just buy them if your friend shills them to you. Like, um, like in the depths of the bear market, some of them got real adoption, like Celsius Network or Aave and some DeFi
But
projects.
you also know that a lot of the altcoins that are making moves don't necessarily have fundamentals behind them.
That is true, but I think it's better to have some sort of
And there
thesis
are
and
multiple projects that do have some fundamentals and that don't perform at all.
do you have an example?
Well, not from the top of my head because I'm not really into, but I know from fact that there are, you don't know when it's going to happen, so you don't know the correct entry point, which is the next problem you're going to be faced with. What
Yeah,
is your ideal entry point?
my plan though is assuming that that the top is not in, I will take some profits when we hit the higher like 80k, 100k levels or so, and then I'll save that for the eventual bear market and place some strategic bets in things that I think that have real usage in adoption. Like MATIC network, for example. This one I'm going to make a video about in the next week or two. We actually made a video about them in 2019, and I met them at a conference during the bear market too, when people didn't really care that much. And I was like, okay, MATIC is like layer two scaling, some really approachable founders from India. They were in San Francisco at a conference. And I was like, okay, not that impressed, bear market, whatever. But I didn't pay attention because projects started moving on there like earlier this year and late last year. And they started getting real adoption from other projects, and then they rocketed a ton since then. And I might have got like a 2x, 3x gain from them. But if I was paying attention earlier, then could have gotten like 10 to 30x or so. It's just, yeah, I think
Well,
nuance
it
is
takes a
needed.
lot of it just takes a very hard and a lot of work and effort to be able to identify from thousands of altcoins which ones are the most likely to perform at some point in time. And then you also need to examine which is the optimal entry zone to get into the specific coins that you've identified. So
Yeah, I
that's going
mean,
to take a lot of extra work.
it is. Someone once wrote, I don't have this tweet in front of me, but he said that honestly that like that he was spending like 50 hours per week like just diving into crypto stuff and invest and like researching and investing and trading, and that he feels like it takes that long of a time to really like understand. Because for just as an example, for Solana, which is another Ethereum competitor, I literally spent like 10 to 15 hours reading stuff about it, and I was only scratching the surface. And when I watch some other YouTubers make videos about it, I'm like, yo, you got this completely wrong. Like, Solana has something called proof of history, and some YouTubers I know just read like one article and like paraphrased it. They're like, proof of history is the next evolution of proof of work and proof of stake. But it has nothing to do with that at all. It's not a consensus mechanism. It's something that has to do with timestamps and ordering of transactions in their network. So it works in conjunction with their consensus mechanism, not replacing it. So my point is that it definitely takes like, it's definitely like another full-time job if you really want to understand projects, really understand their tokenomics, and like catch their adoption to see what the risks are. But it could be worth it, or you could just stack satoshis, just do the ATM method that works too.
Right. And that's also why I personally wouldn't be confident to do any dollar cost averaging in any altcoins, but I am confident to do that in Bitcoin's case.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Okay, let's see. um so there are some live chat, but I'm gonna go. I want to dive into this right here. Some bull case and bear case by Kruger Macro, and I really like this guy's analysis sometimes. But okay, the bear case, and let me know what you think about these too. The bear case: reduced corporate demand, institutional demand reduced. Like we have seen less institutional demand in recent weeks. That's a fact. Macro worsening, tapering potentially by the Fed. Um, Retail dead, gas fees at 20 for Ethereum. Short-term levered demand wiped out. Funds bought the top. China not done. U.S. regulations incoming. TA. He has more stuff for there too. But those are some of the bear case in a nutshell. And here's the bull case. BTD 50% retracement. Macro still supportive. Dollar bear trend. Adoption increasing. Record stablecoin balances and TA. Stablecoin supply up. Bitcoin price down. This is what we see here. Right here. This is the trend. And TA can be used as both bullish or bearish. This is kind of what Adrian was saying earlier too. But bullish, capitulation, replay of March 2020, bear trap above 42K. Bearish, levels below the fib levels below 27K, 25K. If 31K falls, BTC likely trades at 25K fast based on like volume and other metrics. For the bull case to emerge victorious, the crypto industry needs to see heavy investor inflows, which he expects. This coming week is crucial. Let's do it, Miami folks. Let's all buy Bitcoin. I voted for the top is not in, but you can kind of see the sentiment from a few thousand other traders. Any initial thoughts from all this analysis?
Yeah, like obviously there's always two cases to be made, right? And then each trader would then identify which he thinks the more likely scenario will be, and make his trading decisions upon that. But both cases obviously can play out. It's just the matter which one is the more likely to happen according to your own judgment.
Yeah, exactly. And um, a lot of people have been saying that these next coming weeks are crucial in terms of like telling us more, giving us more information based on price action as to what's going to happen next. And I think there's a lot of theories and people's reputations on the line here. Like Plan B's stock to flow, for example, if it stays at these levels for several months, he himself said that his S2F model would be invalidated. And then in my mind, he's irrelevant at that point. Not to hate, I mean, it's good to have theories, but like I never really bought into S2F after I looked into it more. The statistics didn't hold, and his new theory was just like trying to maintain his relevance. His incentive is to keep these theories going because he's famous, he gets talking gigs, he gets followers, he gets other stuff, recognition if stock to flow holds. But if those lines, let me go to his, I don't have his Plan B right here. Let me see if he has a recent
He him
update.
he, he himself also states that the model is accurate as long as it holds, right? So, and with what he means is that it's not going to be valid anymore once it doesn't hold anymore.
Right, but I mean, that's like in the future maybe, but like right now, it's like still early, and he only
Yeah,
has
it's
fitted.
early.
He's only fitted to like a couple past cycles, so it'd be a pretty
Exactly,
worthless
but that's
model.
with every model that you put on Bitcoin. That's with every pattern, with every model, it's going to have the same problem, right?
A lot of people say this is a meme though because they're hating on any model that's like an upwards only model essentially. Because long term trend, this S2F model only goes up, essentially. And he says this is his trusty like heat map per se. 60K was not the top, upwards and onwards, but he expects a fast bump and raise in price soon in order for this to like get back on track pretty much. Like if we got several of um these little points here to the side, then that would not really fit the model at all. So we need a bounce back like here, like boom or boom. We need a hard bounce upwards. Next dot.
Right.
Let's see. Is there any other Dean, before we wrap up today, maybe we should check the live chat real quick. This guy has a really
I
interesting
think,
metric.
yeah.
I'm going to do this real quick and then get to the live chat. This is a homegrown risk metric going back a few cycles. And basically, you can see the top here for the 2013-2014 cycle, here for the 2017-2018. And he says we're not, if it breaks down this line, he'll say the cycle's over, but we still have room to go in his estimation. One
And
thing
what's his
is, or
basis?
okay, so what he does is he combines a lot of different on-chain metrics Puel multiple, SOPR, MVRV, Z-score, R hodl, reserve risk. He combines all of them into like an aggregate metric. So he takes, instead of looking at them individually like I do, he combines all of their scores to see which ones are saying that it's overheating or not. And so,
Hmm.
okay.
Aggregate risk, he calls it.
Yes, exactly. He says, update on this for the people who might care. We're approaching risk support line for this run. Also supporting the same risk levels as June 2017. Expect a hard bounce in a few weeks or I'm turning into a bear. So this kind of also matches the other guy's analysis. Like the coming weeks, we need to bounce. We need to bounce hard soon. So hopefully we can do that.
Not sure if that's because you can see that it didn't reach the levels that it had in the previous cycles, which means it didn't completely overheat yet.
Yes, but it
At,
also
at the
doesn't
same
necessarily.
level.
It's just like y'all said, right? Like Bitcoin, um, Bitcoin's price isn't going to give the same percentage increase every time. We may also have like less overheating too. It is possible.
Right, that's definitely possible.
So we'll see. We'll see. I still remain bullish though, and I'm thinking about buying a little bit today. In
I think an
addition,
important perspective is also to always be able to zoom out in the sense that what is your expectation Bitcoin is going to be eventually? Is it 300,000? Is it 1 million? And once you make that determination, at that point, you should treat Bitcoin as it's worth that price. So every price that's lower than that is always a
yeah,
discount, right?
yeah,
And as
it's
long as you can buy at prices that are lower than that, or even lower than it is right now, it's an increased um, you it's increased buying power for you, right?
exactly like I used to think 10K Bitcoin was expensive when it was like hovering around those levels. But then now I think that's like super cheap. So it's all like market psychology and just investor sentiment and how we get there too. Let's take some time to look
Exactly.
at the live chat. Let's see. Good time says he loves Coin Bureau and this channel. Thank you. That's a very great compliment.
Yes,
Um,
because we do appreciate Coin Bureau's
yeah, he's really good. Less
quality as well.
less shilling, more like informative and honest opinions, which we definitely appreciate. We want to get on their level for sure. Dave Douglas, thanks to see you here. Yeah, we started streaming early. Sorry, we're gonna try to do it at our normal time in the future, but have some stuff on our plate today. We never take enough profits, Theodore. You're preaching to the choir. Safe Moon, okay. Bitcoin gonna dip a bit more. He likes XRP ADA. Man, people are gonna hate me for this, but I kind of want to make a video about why I don't like Cardano. But I know a lot of people love Cardano, so they're gonna freaking skewer me if I make such a video.
Yeah,
But anyways,
be, be, because it's going to be a critical video.
but yeah, people were saying like Cardano is a freaking like vaporware project, right? It hasn't had any live apps or even the ability to handle apps. And it's been going on for, or it's been like in the process, in the works for years now. And I'm not really that big of a fan of Charles either, but maybe that's just me. Let me see. Where was the one that I'm looking for here? Um, okay, can I find it? Or no, can I find it? Let's see. Did I not have it? Let me see. Wow. No. Only one about 88.
Mohammed
Okay.
Hasnain hates 82.
Okay, let's see. Craig Grant was higher up on the pyramid than Crypto Nick and Trevon James. Yeah, I think Craig Grant was like an OG for Bitconnect. That's how he made so much. Been rug pulled on altcoins that fundamentals are so made of. Raise your hand if you miss MATIC. Exactly, we can't know it all with inside information. It's hard otherwise. Best performing alts are MATIC and Swipe. Thoughts on Cosmos or Atom? Interoperability. That's definitely a MATIC competitor. Let's see. Did they catch Crypto Nick? He is a miner, so I doubt it. New
Yeah,
regulations
someone
coming in
else
from
was also mentioning that in the live chat, that he's lower on the pyramid, so to say.
Wow, Canada might put sales tax on Bitcoin buys? Are they serious? That would be crazy.
Like VAT type of tax, sales tax is like a VAT, right? More or less.
Yeah. Hoodie says kind of scared now because if any YouTuber promotes a coin that later rugs or scams, they're gonna be hated. That's true. That's why be very selective. Um, at some point, influencers. Okay, you're finishing. Love the whole stream. Just found you today. Thank you, TV, for joining us. True opinions. Just one bouncing down, like XMR, XRP, 88 on the hype cycle. Waiting for. I'm not sure. But dang, we have a lot of concurrent viewers. Let me switch to this one. This is about it, folks. We're way over time. We definitely got over schedule because we had so many interesting things to talk about. Thank you for joining us, even though Bitcoin is kind of choppy sideways, so nothing huge in terms of price movements right now. But really appreciate y'all joining us. If you don't mind smashing that like button and subscribing down below, check out Ledn. That in the description, it's like BlockFi or Celsius, but they may give you better rates. Check them out too. And hope to see you not next week because I'm going to be at Miami, but the week after that. And cheers. See y'all next time.
See you all next time.